Where do we turn to find out about the life of Jesus? We turn to the Gospels, and we're so blessed to have 4 of them: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The Gospels are the heart of the Bible because we find Jesus and we learn about the heart of God. Jesus is God. And the Gospels are eyewitness accounts, or the authors have put together eyewitness accounts, and they've been inspired by God. So we get the historical truths about Jesus, who he is, what he said, and what he did. And it's so cool that we have 4 Gospels. You know, you might wonder, well, why don't we just merge them into one? Can't do it. Wouldn't be a good thing. We need 4 different angles. So each of these authors, inspired by God, kind of arranged them differently, and they all have their genius. The Gospel of Matthew is sort of the flagship. If ever we quote anything, usually it's from the Gospel of Matthew. Just very memorable, great for teaching, and great for evangelizing the world. If you want to recommend one, maybe you'd recommend Matthew. Mark is like action-packed, and he doesn't pull any punches, and so it's just kind of a quicker, faster gospel is the way I always think of it. Mark the Lion. Luke, I really like Luke as well. And we get the nice little Christmas stories from Luke, a little bit more about the Blessed Virgin Mary. And he also has an eye for women, the poor, and Jesus at prayer. So Luke is super cool. And the Gospel of John is just different than the other 3. It has this eagle approach. In fact, the Gospel of John is represented by eagle. It's like the 10,000-foot view, very theological, some really deep discourses of Jesus. So each of these 4 helps us get a better picture of Jesus. What he taught and did. So we should all read them. The word gospel means, it comes from Old English, good spell. It's not like a magic spell, but it's a good story and a real story. In Greek, it's euangelion. That's where we get the word evangelize. And euangelion is good message, like angel, angelion. The angels gave us the good news. So it's good news. Gospel is good news. Good news about Jesus Christ. So I want to read a little bit. The Gospels kind of explain what they are. The Gospel of Luke starts this way. He says, it is Luke, sorry. Luke chapter 1, verse 1. Since many have undertaken to compile a narrative of the events that have been fulfilled among us, just as those who are eyewitnesses from the beginning and ministers of the word have handed them down to us, I too have decided, after investigating everything accurately anew, to write it down in an orderly sequence for you, most excellent Theophilus. Who's Theophilus? I don't know. So that you may realize the certainty of the teachings you have received. So Luke is getting eyewitness accounts. He's putting them in an orderly sequence. How cool is that? These Gospels are, I mentioned, kind of like the angels. If you flip a page in the Gospel of Luke, the angels appear to the shepherds and they say, "Do not be afraid, for behold, I proclaim to you good news of great joy that will be for all the people." That's what the Gospels are, good news. If you look at the Gospel of John, how he ends it, he says, "It is this disciple who testifies to these things and has written them, and we know that his testimony is true. There are also many other things that Jesus did, but if these were to be described individually, I do not think the whole world would contain the books that would be written." end of the Gospel of John. It can't contain Jesus. So, but that's where we learn about him. And when we read the Gospel in Mass, you notice we all stand, because what's happening is it's like Jesus has suddenly walked in the room and, hey, stand up. Jesus is here. And we listen to the Gospel and we encounter him. Scripture is alive. So the Gospels give us that, but it really is the living Jesus. He speaks to us today. And that's why we should treasure the Gospels and read them. If you've not read through them, it's not that hard. And if you're going to read the Bible, don't start in the Old Testament. I'd say start with these Gospels and get to know Jesus. Read Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and Jesus will become alive to you. That's where we get to know him.